Welcome, UCL fans, to the Week 15 review and ranking for the United Championship League. I'm your host, Nintendo Fanatic 64, and I've watched all the matches, crunched the numbers, and determined what I believe is a fair and accurate ranking system for the United Championship League. Now, as I'd like to mention, I am in no way affiliated with the UCL or any of the coaches involved. If any of them are watching, I hope you enjoy. Please leave a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Let me know down below if you disagree with any of my rankings. But as this is the final week, and we've also heard from the official UCL Twitter, who at least the top 4 teams are, as well as the rest of the rankings, minus one team because they've missed it completely. But these are going to be the rankings that I have judged them for it. So, before we get into the actual rankings, we're going to go ahead and talk about the matches that took place this week. Now, starting off, as I've mentioned in the past several weeks, the Durham Dreadguns have forfeited the remainder of the season due to personal reasons. The opponents this week were the South Beach Slow Kings, who were awarded the win in their favor. Also, the Grand Canyon Greninjas also had to forfeit their match this week against the Pittsburgh Pichus due to being unable to form a team in time for their match. The Pittsburgh Pichus have been awarded the win for this week as well. So moving on to the actual matches that took place this week, we start off with the Toronto Togekiss, whose record is 4-10, taking on the Long Island Reggie Rockies, whose record is 8-6. And it was a 3-0 victory for the Long Island Reggie Rockies. MVP of the match goes to Bray Loom from the Long Island Reggie Rockies, who managed to get 3 knockouts this week. Up next, we have the Bristol City Blazikins, whose record is 7-7, taking on the Philadelphia Feraligators, whose record is 6-8. And it was a 4-0 victory for the Bristol City Blazikins. MVP of the match goes to the Thunderous Therian from Bristol City, who managed to get 3 knockouts this week. Now, the remaining 4 matches all were must-win situations for the teams involved that I read off first, as it all pertained to making the playoffs. So starting off, we have the Newcastle Nidokings with their 11-3 record, taking on the Manchester Magnazones, whose record is 0-14. And it was a 3-0 victory for the Newcastle Nidokings. MVP of the match goes to Armaldo from the Newcastle Nidokings, who managed to get 3 knockouts this week. Up next, we have the New York Yankees, again with an 11-3 record, taking on the Carolina Keldios, whose record was 6-8. And it was a 2-0 victory for the New York Yankees. MVP of the match goes to the Mega Pinsir from New York, who managed to get 3 knockouts this week. Up next, we have the Bronx Bearticks with an 11-3 record, taking on the Tulsa Talonflames with a record of 6-8. And it was a 3-0 victory for the Bronx Bearticks. MVP of the match goes to Manaphy from the Bronx Bearticks, who managed to get 3 knockouts this week. Now, the Bronx Bearticks win did not guarantee them into playoffs. It all determined on this last match if they would make it in or not. Which the last match were the Tucson Terrakions, who were 11-3, taking on the St. Louis Rampardos, who were 13-1. And it was determined earlier on that the way that playoffs would have worked would have been had the Newcastle Nidokings, New York Yankees, Bronx Bearticks, and Tucson Terrakions get the wins, then they would have determined it by who beat who during the regular season. And since the Bronx Bearticks had lost to both the New York Yankees and the Tucson Terrakions, they would have been out. So this next match had very big implications when it came to the Bronx Bearticks actually making it into the playoffs. But it was a 1-0 victory for the St. Louis Rampardos, eliminating the Tucson Terrakions from playoffs. And the MVP of the match goes to Conkelder from the St. Louis Rampardos, who managed to get 3 knockouts in the match. But there is also a special mention to the Chansey from the Tucson Terrakions, who actually managed to knock out the Mega Metagross by dodging 2 attacks that would have otherwise knocked out Chansey. This also kept Metagross from getting a knockout this week and keeping it with only 30 kills during the regular season. So that does it for the matches that took place. There weren't many due to 2 of them being canceled. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the actual ranking system. So at number 16, with no wins this season and 15 losses, we have the Manchester Magnazones. At number 15, we have the Grand Canyon Greninjas with a 12-13 record. At number 14, we have the South Beach Slow Kings with a 4-11 record. At number 13, we have the Toronto Tokakiss with a 4-11 record. At number 12, with a record of 6-9, we have the Carolina Keldios. At number 11, with a 6-9 record as well, we have the Philadelphia Fur Alligators. At number 10, again with a 6-9 record, we have the Tulsa Talonflames. At number 9, we have the Durham Druddigons, also with the last 6-9 record. At number 8, we have the Bristol City Blazekins, whose record was 8-7. At number 7, we have the Pittsburgh Pichus, whose record was 9-6. At number 6, we have the Long Island Reggie Rockies, whose record is also 9-6. At number 5, we have the Tucson Terrakions, who have an 11-4 record. And the top 4 teams who will also be battling next weekend, or this upcoming weekend in the playoffs. At number 4, we have the New York Yankees with a record of 12-3. We have, at number 3, the Bronx Bearticks with a 12-3 record. At number 2, we have the Newcastle Nido Kings with a record of 2-3. And at number 1, with a 14-1 record and managing to actually get 12 straight victories in the season, are the St. Louis Rampardos. So 14-1 for them. Now, the matches that will be taking place this weekend are going to be the St. Louis Rampardos and the New York Yankees, and the Newcastle Nido Kings taking on the Bronx Bearticks. Ironically, these are also matches that both took place on week 2 of the UCL, so it'll be interesting to see how well the teams have gone. I will be having another video up in probably a couple days that are actually going to analyze the 4 teams and how these matches might go down for it. So, alright, sorry for the interruption with that. Something came up with that, but as I was saying, I'm going to have another video up probably on Thursday talking about the actual playoff matches themselves and seeing how they will go down. I will have my complete team analysis for all 4 teams that are going to be in the match this weekend. So, thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you for all the support from everyone who's been watching with me. Again, I'm going to be trying myself as well, as I hope the rest of you do, at trying to make me the official news correspondent, or whatever you want to call this, for the UCL next season, if Season 2 does take place. So, thank you all for your support. Thank you for checking out, and I will catch you all next time. Thank you very much, and have a good night.